suck,
and that's sad.
An
AEW
wrestling
podcast
of wrestling news.
Come one, come all. Welcome back to You Suck and That's Sad, an AEW wrestling podcast of wrestling news. I'm Matt. And
I'm Jesse.
And I'm TK.
Hi, TK.
Hey, TK.
Well, boys.
The real TK.
The real TK, not the fake TK, aka Tony Khan TK. That's a lot of letters with some periods in between them.
That's a lot of K's too. You watch
a little too many.
Well, guys, it's been a week. Our second podcast ever. What's going on? What's going on, guys?
I saw a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns tonight.
Ooh.
In a forest.
Were any of them dressed up like wrestlers?
No. It's all for like kids and stuff. Whatever.
Now, you just told me that the city had a no burn order, but they're doing jack-o'-lantern festivals in the forest.
Yes, they are. But there's no actual fire in them. It's just lights.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I think the ban will be lifted
Halloween's
after today.
Canceled.
Speaking of canceled, let's segue into some AEW news.
Ooh, do it. Talk.
I don't know. Nobody's been canceled. I just figured we better switch it into some AEW gears. Who should be canceled? What gimmicks should have been canceled? What wrestlers should have been canceled? I don't know. Maybe one of those things is relevant.
We're talking about one of those things later.
Oh, we are, aren't we?
We sure is. But there is news, and there is someone potentially canceled, right? That's what we've been hearing. That's what we've been seeing. That's what the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer himself, sir, is reporting, right?
The super kick himself, yeah.
CM Punk and Tony Khan apparently rumored to be talking buyout. That is the big news, and that is the sad news.
That is the dumbest news in the world.
Bad news. Jesse, what do you think about that dumb, bad, awful news? Do you have an opinion about the terrible news that no one should like, and anyone that does like it is awful and bad?
To be quite honest, it sucks because I feel like I'm gonna lose some friends who watch AEW with me. Are gonna stop watching it if he goes away. So that would suck, and I really don't want that. Plus, it sucks people losing their jobs. Well, he wouldn't be losing his job. He'd make a bunch of money and buy out. But where do we go from there?
I don't know.
And that's because I need that Punk and MJF feud.
Yeah. Oh, so does everybody.
I need that back. When we saw it last year, when we were there in November.
I think they figure it out.
I mean, it'd be insane if they didn't. It'd be the hottest feud, hottest angle in forever if they could figure it out and let bygones be bygones.
Top 3 pay-per-views, top 5 out of top 10 merch in a year still.
Yeah, it would be insane. But if the rumors are true and one of the holdups is a non-compete, the only thing that would mean is Punk would be considering going back to WWE, and that tells me he's really pissed about this, huh? That sounds good.
I think he would literally say, "Okay, you're not going to work with me. This company knows how to work with troubled people, and I draw money. I'm going to go back there."
And that's what it's all about in the end. Like, I think we all agree here, Punk's kind of an asshole, probably.
Yeah, of course. He's my favorite wrestler in the world, but he's an asshole.
More wrong about this than anything else, but like Michael Jordan was also an asshole, and a lot of people who are really good at what they do are assholes, and fair or not, I don't think Michael get a pass.
I don't think Michael Jordan ever swung on a VP though.
He swung on people at practice.
I said a VP.
Okay, but this isn't real. This is like Candy Factory Willy Wonka VP stuff. Like, it's the talent. They're the talent.
True,
like, they would be the first to tell you they're one of the boys.
In the corporate,
you can't
be
a VP in one of the boys. Yeah, they are, and that could have legal repercussions. We'll see.
I think it will. Hopefully, it does. Hopefully, they lose those titles.
I mean, hopefully they lose. I don't want any lawsuits, but if we do get lawsuits and we do get Discovery and we do get a cavalcade of Carnage, then we all benefit from that. That'd be fun. That'd be the second best thing to him actually coming back and participating in the Carnage in the ring.
Yeah.
We would at least get to find out how much of a candy cane clowns the Bucks and their pretend EVP roles are. And we'd get to find out who else shares a bank account with Colt Cabana's mom. So lots of good stuff to find out.
You know what?
I just worry if
F you, Colt Cabana. Just how that came out of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
I wonder if they're worried that if we keep Punk, not so much losing the Young Bucks, but if they were to lose Kenny with Punk coming back, that would be tough.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Kenny not wanting to re-sign.
Kenny's his own individual animal, though. Kenny can work without the Bucks, and if Kenny has to go away from the Bucks, Kenny is still the best wrestler in the world without the Young Bucks.
And business-wise,
he's in the, you know what I mean. Best wrestler to some, top 5 for most.
Drawing-wise, business-wise, like you keep a Punk over Kenny 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
True for the American audience, but not for
which dwarfs
Japanese
your international audience. I mean, AEW is not paying the bills with 90,000 streamers in Japan. I don't think.
I would hope not. That's more of a Flexo is spending money.
Yeah, I mean that's just because Flexo is like an asshole nerd like we are, born around the same time, so he loves all things like Japanese because like they gave him good video games. They gave him things to do when he wasn't talking to Luthez on AIM. So, that audience matters to him.
Right.
It matters.
Right. Speaking of giving things to people for them to do, the Mark Henry segment from the other night was fantastic.
Can you tell me how it went? Can you guys play it out? Can you be Orange Cassidy? And then Nick, you be Mark Henry?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you who the other 2 panels were because Mark and OC were in their own middle panel.
Yeah, just do that. Yeah, just do that. You guys, I want to hear it as a bit.
I don't even remember the rest, but it was
I cannot remember how it starts.
Me neither off the top of my head, but I just remember laughing.
Don't make it up. You're on the spot.
Knowing that it was only going to last a minute and that I was laughing for the entire minute every time Orange Cassidy said something and the Mark was like, Orange, don't do that. That's my line.
That's my
Orange,
line.
We don't do that. That's my line. What are you?
Basically,
it was pretty good. It was classic.
Those guys are great together.
And we need more of that. Like, I know they threw the match together on a whim just to get some eyes on Rampage, but I'm okay with that. I got to OC wrestle. I got to see him with
But
Mark
those
Henry.
make the best matches. The only thing that's missing is like the 30-second backstage segment before where all they do is walk around a corner and bump into each other. And one says, watch it. And the other one says, no, you. And then we go to commercial. That's all you were missing. Just like a video game.
Oh, well, yeah. Like Tony can book like story mode in a SmackDown game or something.
He does book story mode. I feel like that's how they book the show sometimes.
Because and when he talks,
that's why the first hour is great.
He looks like a PlayStation 2 quality animation NPC when he talks, when he's out there delivering lines too.
Yeah, he's always too exuberant. It's great. I love it. Every time I see it, I clap.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun. Minus he's probably terrified and heart thumping, and he needs to ring his bell or push his button so Schiavone can bring him his Adderall and
so he can keep going to book.
So he can keep going. So he can do it, damn it, and talk. He could go on there and say, hey, everybody, the titles were vacated last night. We're going to have a new trios championship match. We're going to have a tournament for the new world champion that is going to finish up here at Grand Slam. Thank you all so much for watching AEW. I look forward to presenting all of this fun stuff for you, and to stay tuned because I got lots more surprises to tell you all. All of you. And his eyes are popping out like that lady that used to pop her eyeballs out on Jerry Springer back in the 90s, back when wrestling was great and bad simultaneously. And, back when wrestling was the wrestling that makes us do this podcast today.
The great and bad still exists. That's what Dark and Dark Elevation are for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's wrestling, period. Like, wrestling is, at its best, is stupid, and at its worst, it's stupid and boring, right?
It's Dungeons and Dragons. That's all it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. You need a
Show.
guidebook and dice
No, it's
and
just
magic.
one person running the show, and he's got characters. That's all it is.
Oh man. So are they all player characters or like you
It
calling some
doesn't
wrestlers
matter. You
NPCs?
got a game master, and he just plays with his characters and makes a show, makes it cool.
Then they should have earpieces and Tony Khan is rolling dice backstage on the fly and has to direct the match based on the dice
He could
rolls.
be. You've seen some of the bookings.
And we have
Yeah. Oh,
and we have the top
he
camera.
might be.
We have the
This
camera
is
showing him
true.
roll the dice with his little dice tower.
Uh-huh.
To
Oh.
make sure or spin the wheel like they used to
Hey,
for a match.
that would probably make a good match.
That's why Miro left. He's like, I will not lose belt to Fuego del Sol. I'm like, he rolled 15 natural 20s in a row, Miro. Don't look at me. Yeah.
Fuego hasn't even really been on Dark lately.
Oh man, maybe he's on break.
Was he on any of our lists from last week's episode?
Yeah, you guys fired him. You guys were like, I'll
Oh,
get
yeah,
rid
he
of the
gone.
jobber. I don't like that jobber guy. Give someone else a chance.
Yeah. But
You don't pick on Fire of the Sun. Leave him alone.
just let him go, man. He's
So,
already
Jesse,
dead.
In the
He's
name
already
of
dead.
he's already dead. He's dead. In the name of trying to conquer chaos, you came up with an outline for the show, didn't you? But
Yes.
we get our bearings. So where do we go from here, Capitan? Direct us, lead us.
Well, we did talk about OC in Mark Henry's
Ooh.
segment. We talked a
Mhm.
little bit about the Punk situation, which there's probably going to be more out about that in 2 days. I did enjoy Jade's little segment on Rampage this week. It was fun to see her try to take over, but when she sat in the middle of the ring, Nyla came up on the screen and Nyla stole her car. Like she just jumped in, or she I guess went into her locker or bag or
Was it a
whatever.
backstage segment? Is that what the car was in the back of the arena?
They were on the street.
Okay.
The car was on the street. Vicky's like sitting outside the window on the passenger side, and they have the TBS title in the back seat, like showing. And I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious because then Jade like lost her shit and ran to the back to try to catch her, but she wasn't going to.
Fight for the TBS title is so meta that we can't even have a match for it. We just have to watch them like steal it from each other and never defend it.
See, Nick, you wanted to fire Nyla Rose. We never would have gotten that segment if you would have had your hateful ways.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad that it's not up to you now?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
It's still up to the kid in the candy store.
And the Matt Hardy segment.
Still up to the guy who might fire CM Punk because he doesn't know any better. Because he's a baby.
He tried to convince Punk to get a scrum-diddly-umptious bar, but Punk is all about
if he was
those
a real
muffins.
owner, he would have shut his media scrum interview down 30 seconds after he opened his stupid mouth. No, he let him go for 50 minutes and then looked like a dumbass donkey with his mouth closed.
He's nodding along too. I agree with everything
so
you're
whatever.
saying.
He's just as complacent in that. So if you're gonna pile on Punk, pile on the guy who does that.
Oh yeah, he's the boss.
Yep.
Who's the boss? You thought it was Tony Danza.
It was always Angela.
I thought it was Matt Hardy. He usually has the people, right?
No, that's Becky Lynch.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, she's the man. The boss is Sasha Banks, right?
Yeah, Sasha Banks is the boss.
What's going on with her? Is she coming to AEW? They signed Saraya instead for reasons.
That or Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh, she was in that one, huh? That was fun.
I think they want to get her back as we segue to WWE for a minute.
That's okay. We're talking about super talented women. We have to talk about WWE or not talk about them at all.
That's true. They want to get her back, but I don't think she wants to come back. I think she wants to act.
I think she will. She's a Triple H girl for life. So that whole generation of the people he raised in NXT now trust them with their everything. It's how Vince had his hardcore, I'll do anything for you people. Triple H has a bunch of those now.
I mean, that's all well.
Did
and good.
Vince, Pat Patterson,
No, not his old yes men. I mean, John Cena's on record saying, he would do whatever Vince said blindly if Vince said do it. He didn't care because he trusted him and owed him his life. Blah blah blah. There's a lot of people in NXT that came up and trained and were there for 5 or 6 or 7 years completely with Triple H.
I agree with your
now
Triple
we're on the
H
main
sentiments. I agree with all the Triple H stuff. The Vince attachment. Cena, he's a Boy Scout.
I was making an analogy.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I'm just saying Triple H got way more of those guys than Vince ever did. Because Vince would be like,
for sure.
I heard everything you had to say about me, buddy, about the loyalty. And let me be the first to tell you. That's Vince a stupid fucking attitude. I'm going to put you over a barrel.
Couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. He wouldn't like, he hates weakness. He would start just like kicking that guy in the shins, daring that guy to tell him to stop. And he'd keep doing it. Cena made him too much money, so Cena never got shin kicked to death. But
like the Undertaker.
Yeah, like, Undertaker. He's
a full-on Vince man. I mean, even Jericho at one point was, until he realized he can't go any further.
But still,
Jericho's a politician too.
Jericho's really good at playing. He knows the game inside and out.
He does.
It's about how you play it. It's all about the game. All right.
He's a classic pro.
Classic bro.
Brother.
Yeah. Well, one other
AEW needs to bring in they need to bring in Hulk Hogan. The final point can wait. No one's gonna take the
Billy
bait.
Daddy Ass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sting versus Hogan one more time. Yeah, bring it on.
Scissor me Sting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'd be like, he'd see that's the most popular gimmick going on, and he'd insert himself right in it. Yeah.
That is a great gimmick. I love gimmicks. Yeah. I love gimmicks so much in wrestling. It's the best thing about it.
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about some bad ones in a minute though, aren't we?
Soon.
In our Brooklyn Brawler segment.
Oh, he's such a great guy.
You guys would have fired him. He was the Fuego of that new gen, so you guys would have canned him.
Probably.
There's always another Fuego.
Exactly, but I told you who's going to become Fuego, and you had a tough time with that one. Nobody wants to be the Fuego.
We got enough Fuegos on the roster that we don't see. That will say that was the big thing about Rampage that I didn't like. It was live. But every opponent, like you had the main stars outside of the main event who all got their entrances, but every match, the first like 3 or 4 matches, one of the wrestlers got the jobber entrance. They were just in the ring waiting every time. Like they'd come out in commercial break and they wouldn't even show picture in picture for it. So it's like, okay. So
but I mean, that's the wrestling model. They want to get you glued to the TV so you could look at the ads, and then they go away when something good happens. That is the wrestling.
They did that enough on Dark. I don't need my Rampage to be another Dark.
I mean, the Rampage structure is already ass backwards as it is. They film 3 hours of TV usually, and the worst of the hours becomes Rampage by far with how they film with the crowds. They need to figure out a way to film Rampage first, so you segue into the better Dynamite with a better finish on Dynamite instead of every main event on Rampage being 2 people you really don't want to main event a Rampage.
Yeah, it's really crazy that Tony just made the decision to have Rampage be a lower tier show. Like I don't get that.
Like you totally just tell looking at it, and instead of it being like a ramp into Dynamite, it's a decline after Dynamite, and you're like, until the next Dynamite anyway. Unless there's a really good match. Sometimes it's a really good show, though.
Yeah, sometimes it is, but nobody's watching it, and it kind of feels like he looked at the ratings and was like, "Well, I don't want to put any important story beats in there and have people miss anything." Like instead of thinking about things the proper way, like, no, I want to put important shit in there and then call back to it on Dynamite for 2 friggin' minutes, so people say, "Well, I guess I have to watch Rampage now." Like it's just. He's a silly boy, that Tony Khan. Yeah. Some of these decisions, and I'm sure he could like pull out a bunch of papers and talk about. Well, actually, asshole, these metrics are why I'm right. And it's like, well, your ratings are why you're wrong.
Yeah. No, those first few rampages though were great because it was 60 minutes of 51 minutes of quick matches, and it would come on the air and the bell
Well,
would
you
ring,
had
and you have
Christian
20 minutes,
Omega
and
took up
they had
half the
great
time of the
matches.
first rampage. Christian won the TNA title off Omega. That was the first chip to fall off Captain Belt.
Yeah.
And the second one was Punk, was the first dance. Like, that's possibly the best 2 debut episodes in a row for a wrestling show. And then from there, it progressively got
Daniel Bryan show was Rampage. That was good.
Daniel Bryan, he debuted at the pay-per-view.
Wasn't his debut at the?
It was at
Ashe,
the
right?
pay-per-view
last year
too.
Yeah,
What's that?
I think they announced it at the Rampage or something. So yeah.
It
was
and
at
Cole,
the Arthur Ashe. Yeah.
Well, him and Cole were at the Double or Nothing or All In
that's right.
2021 at the end
with Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was such a fun night.
How could I forget? It's like I was there.
Yeah. That's when I cannot remember names tonight.
It's because you're old.
That's true. The Lucha Bros, when they won
going.
the tag titles from the
that was in the cage, right?
Yeah, the cage match.
Yeah, that was.
They
really
came
good.
out with those like awesome.
But I can't think of a bad Lucha Brothers match in the last 5 years I've been watching them. So,
except against Luchasaurus.
I mean,
oh
like
yeah,
I said,
no, they had a couple
but...
against FTR that managed to not be great.
Yeah, the two styles didn't work too well together.
They're really good pay-per-view matches.
They had a couple against FTR that did work great too. I think it was the when they came out as the Frogs, when the FTR tried to do Lucha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's when FTR took the titles though, so
heel FTR was fun.
The Triple Mania titles. FTR should have another pair of belts right now. FTR should be holding 4 different tag titles for the past year, but for some reason they can't have the AEW ones.
Tony Khan, he's going to sit them down like, look, I can't give you those belts, but I just come up with the North American Tag Champions for AEW. What do you think about being the inaugural AEW North American Tag World Champ? And it's okay.
Title number 15.
Yes, more titles. Oops, all belts. Oops, all belts.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oops, all belts.
That's what like every other show is called because there's a title match on it now.
Yeah, every episode is a Clash of Champions, Battle of the Belts. Think about that.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Now he's been doing it quite often.
And no DQ finishes
because it's never the good titles. It's always the bottom one, middle ones. Like, okay, that makes a cool show, but it's like you're not going to give them. You're not going to make those people lose.
It's a random challenger. Yeah, it's not even. It's just ugh.
Titles are on the line.
Yeah, it'll usually be a side feud in the middle of their main feud that's going to pop off in 3 weeks on the pay-per-view.
And I mean, like the TNT title. It's cool. Wardlow has it.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing with it? He's tagging now.
Yeah,
like you need to get him and Samoa Joe need to start feuding.
I think that's what's the plan.
Yeah.
But I think they need to make them turn on each other quick. But it's going to go so fast. It's going to be like, oh, everybody, now they're over as a tag team, and that's when he turns.
Kind of.
And I mean, Samoa Joe is also a Fabergé egg. Like, I think there's a reason he's done one actual singles match since he's been with AEW. And he had one singles squash. And other than that, it's been tag. I mean, the guy's body just can't do it the way it used to.
Yeah.
So an
you want to
definitely
definitely want to be safe. Don't want to kill yourself.
Yeah. I mean, Joe's still great, and Joe can still talk, and you can still get use out of him. But we're not in like 1990 Andre the Giant territory or anything.
Oh, that was rough to watch.
But he's not gonna be doing old Samoa Joe things no more. Not on a regular basis.
1, 2, 3.
And welcome back to YSATS X AEW, an AEW podcast. We're going to go ahead and go into our second segment here where we talk about AEW's worst gimmicks. Now, this has only been a company, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, for a little over 3 years, give or take a little bit more or less, depending on who you talk to and how you rate it. there are quite a few people that have gone through this roster and competed in All Elite Wrestling. So you get your pick of the litter with your worst gimmick. And now that can include how this wrestler is packaged, how silly they have to look, the things they had to do in the ring, their commentary, their extreme heelness or faceness when they should have been the opposite. Sometimes that's all it takes for the gimmick to be awful.
Enough talk. Now it's time for the main event. Bottom 5.
So I'll go ahead and get us started off. I'm going to say my top of my list has Brian Cage on it. He has been just muscle man for about as long as he's been a wrestler, and it doesn't work anymore. He needs an actual gimmick that isn't just muscle man with no, he can't talk. He's okay in the ring. And it skirts the line of almost having no gimmick because it's always just, I got muscles and I look kind of good chiseled. That's not a gimmick anymore. It's not 1980 where you had to get by on that now. You need some stuff nowadays.
Nick, you are not wrong. Brian Cage is lame, and it is kind of like Buff Bagwell's sans personality, and Buff Bagwell sucked with personality. He's also not as good a worker as Buff Bagwell, although he's a great athlete and can do all the moves. A hunky body is no substitute for a personality.
I have to agree with you on that. I never really thought of him actually having a gimmick. He was just kind of there. He was a part of Team Taz.
And I even pulled him up to make sure I was like, no, I don't remember this guy from before his AEW career. And even going back to whatever, 2011, 12, 13, I was like, oh, he's literally had the John Cena prototype gimmick for his entire life. Okay, it fits his look, but yeah, the 883rd person to do that. And it's not one of the coolest.
No. Despite all his rage, he is still just a bland in a cage.
Mr. Jesse, who do we have on your list that tops there, or should I say bottoms there?
I'm gonna call with the Wingmen.
They are bottoms.
They
Undeniably.
are bottoms.
Undeniably.
I don't think I could name them.
Ari
I
Shibari.
personally. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
No, Jesse, talk. I was just answering Nick's question. He was rude. I'm your hero. Go ahead and keep talking.
All right. So, Pretty Peter Avalon. I love the
him.
librarian gimmick. I thought it was hilarious how he would come out and he was doing the shush before anybody else was. Like, they were just, I don't think they came out to music. I think they just came out and were just like, shh, the whole time. Which, yeah, that gimmick never got over, but it made me laugh and I enjoyed it. And Caesar Bononi, I feel is being wasted, even though he can't really talk, but he can move in the ring. The Hollywood Hunk is Dolph Ziggler's brother.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah, Ryan Nemeth. Yeah, he's okay. He's decent on the mic, but he's mid-card for life. And I can't remember the other guy, but he's also a part of the Workhorsemen. So it doesn't make sense that he would still be with the Wingmen. So I don't like the gimmick at all. Like, they were trying to make him the guy, I can't remember his name. They were trying to make him, like, put him in nice clothing, make him kind of like, they were doing like a Queer Eye thing with him, and it just didn't work, and it kind of died. But that to me is one of the worst gimmicks.
It's so memorable that I have blocked it all from my memory.
And I got it mixed up with the Ari Davari clan. Who are they again? The Trustbusters. Trustbusters. Yes.
I feel like that. Is that the Roosh stable?
No, that's La Facción Ingumbionables.
Sometimes there's too many and I can't keep track.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, good one. Anytime Peter Avalon comes up for discussion, I'm pleased, and he's not over. Therefore, the gimmick's wasted on the fantastic body of Peter Avalon.
Pretty
Pretty
Peter.
Peter.
Avalon.
Pretty Peter. That was a good gimmick. I liked that. Where he's just basically Rick Rude minus the body.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious.
Rick Rude, but 11.
Yeah.
Mr. G, who bottoms your list?
Oh boy. I got I'll do my most boring one first, and I'm gonna say Emi Sakura.
Emi Sakura?
My list has lost a member.
Yeah, Emi Sakura. I don't get it. It's just weird. And she was doing like a very charismatic comedy face Freddie Mercury thing while also like being a heel. I think she was supposed to be a heel for a lot of the run that she was doing that. It's just weird. It's like a bad Halloween costume, Dead Rockers thing. And I don't know. I don't like it. It's like it's the Halloween episode. You do it for the Halloween episode, and then you don't do it the rest of the year. But she does it every time she comes out, and
it's hard to mess up for the Japanese Joshi women, like a cool bubbly heel or mean heel or bubbly face gimmick, and yet somehow she came out looking with no gimmick. Couldn't do either, and yeah, you're right. Totally. That's literally what I wrote down.
Was she the one with Nyla Rose for a while?
Yeah.
She's bounced around a lot, and they make her work with a lot of people. She has trained a lot of those girls, or trained with them, I should say. She's been a tag team partner of a lot of that inner circle that Kenny brought over. So
yeah,
I liked her segment on Dark, or her match on Dark.
Yeah, she's not a bad worker. I mean, she wasn't on my fire list.
Yeah, mine either.
Great, but she's
as the Empress. And doing the tea time in the middle of the match, like sitting on your opponent's funny.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds kind of funny.
Yeah. And that's what I think when I think of her. So I don't know. I like her little gimmick when she does that stuff. So
it's definitely mostly 2020 and 2021 AEW. I'm thinking of when I'm talking about her.
Okay. I don't remember that. Because I'm old, so
for sure. 2 days is your short-term memory, and then it's gone forever.
If I'm lucky, I'm like a goldfish, man.
I mean, that's fun though. Like your house must seem huge.
It is.
Speaking of seeming huge, Satnam Singh is on my list.
Is he's the giant?
He's the Uttabali, yeah. He's the big guy.
He's the big, huge giant. He's the great Kali 2.0.
Yeah,
the former NBA guy.
When we saw him at All
gimmick?
Out, and
his gimmick
his head was eye level to the ring ropes, we were like, "That's a big man."
Yeah, he's awesome just for that. But what's the gimmick? What's
the gimmick is Indian giant. Monster. It's Monster Destroyer, and it's not. He just.
Well, I mean, what else is he gonna do?
That's not up to me. Figure it out. People don't want big mean giant all the time anymore. It doesn't work.
Basically, what you don't like about his gimmick is the fact that he's Indian and 12 feet tall, but he can't help either of those things. He's just a 12-foot tall Indian.
I didn't say that at all, and I don't want that in the podcast, so we can cut that part out.
But I mean, what do you say? Let's keep that in the podcast. I'm not saying that you don't like 12-foot tall Indians. I mean, you are saying it, but I'm not.
No, that's not what I said. So I don't want that in the podcast.
Well, what's his gimmick? I mean, that's his gimmick, right?
I just said his gimmick is tall, scary giant. It has nothing to do with him being Indian. It's the tall, scary giant gimmick that doesn't work because he's too happy in the ring.
And I'll have you know that nothing I said makes you look worse than you going Uttabala does, and you didn't want that cut. I would recommend, if anything, that makes you look worse than anything I just said.
No, that's hilarious.
I get it. But okay, so Satnam Singh, he's gone.
I like well, we're not
I like him too.
Well,
I want him gone.
If he has to change his gimmick, what is he gonna do? You gonna put him in a robe and cover him up and make him shorter and walk on his knees?
Put him
he
with
can't
Brandon
be the tall
Cutler.
monster.
What's
he gonna be?
Put him with Luchasaurus. I don't care.
No,
Make him another dinosaur. Let him.
He's already with Jay Lethal. We don't need him going anywhere.
and he's green as can be. You don't want him in like actually having to do comedy. Good Lord, him as a dinosaur. It would make Luchasaurus look
This
good.
was name the worst gimmicks, not create the new gimmicks for the people that have worse gimmicks. That's not my job. That's the other Tony. The
Well, I'm
other
not
TK's
asking you
job.
to create a new gimmick.
Flexo's job. The other
But
TK.
you're assigning his gimmick is just him. I don't know. Like it's cool. That's cool. Lively discussion. I don't want to pry too deep into your prejudices or anything. So we can go on to the next.
I'll go next.
Okay.
The heel Young Bucks.
Put him in a Punjabi prison.
My follow-up's gonna be great for that. Go on, Jesse.
The heel Young Bucks. I get it. They're supposed to be obnoxious and make you hate them, but it was such at the point where I'm like, I don't even want to see you.
And I do hate you is what I thought when they'd come on, and I'd turn off my television with the
because it
channel
was
that I
the
paid
same
for.
every week. Like, I get it. You're obnoxious. You're rich. Oh, look at my shoes. Cool. Is that all you're giving me? Like, that's all you're giving me week in and week out, and you're getting way too much time on the television to where
That's
I'm just
the
like, yeah, I'm
the
good.
EVP syndrome. Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I don't need this. Like, I'm okay. Yeah, that's about it for me for that.
I think a lot of their segments were shit, but I mean, I like them as the heels. I don't mind. I didn't mind the gimmick. Like a lot of the performances weren't great.
Yeah, I don't have them on my worst gimmicks because I have another set of brothers as worst gimmicks. But yeah, I definitely understand because they're still just lesser, better Hardy Boys.
Legendary X-Pac heat, legit.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like them, but there's way too many of a louder, smaller group that really love them, and it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like they're good performers. Like they do their kind of match, and it's goofy.
They do their thing,
but like they're really good at it. I'm not going to pretend they're not. And
they usually
in
don't
smaller
have
doses.
Matches. Yeah.
And when like someone is there to like say no about certain things, like you can use the Bucks, and I'd still want the Bucks on my TV. But yeah, the whole EVP, obvious, they got a lot of influence stuff. That's never good, whether it's Hogan or Jericho or even a Ric Flair or a Dusty Rhodes. Like it goes bad eventually. You get too much power, influence, blah blah blah. So yeah, let's not pick on the Bucks anymore. I'm going to go to my next one. I have the aw shucks face Young Bucks. Oh shit. Well,
you done messed up.
Bummer. Yeah, I didn't like them as faces because they kind of got the same to a lesser degree than Sammy, but they also got natural punch me faces. And when they're doing their face work, they're kind of trying to do the whole like meta, we're in on the joke. Let's ham it up and just kind of have fun thing that I don't know, just adds to the fact that they're pricks. They don't ever not seem like pricks.
No, you're right. Because when they're faces, it's all about let me do all my cool flashy spots because that's your job as the heel.
Yeah. And like that's like
it's always over the top and way more over the like we didn't need 18 super kicks in that match and you slapped your leg for all of them. Like
yeah, and you're the face. Like you're doing these crazy
46 near falls. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't like those Bucks. Like the garbage with the inner circle where their dad got kidnapped and beat up. Like that was embarrassingly bad. That was really bad. And then like 2 weeks later they flipped heel anyways. So it just
completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's almost like whatever arena they're in, they can be heel or face. And I guess that works to their advantage, but it's really hard to tell a story that way from week to week.
Yeah. No good. And I mean, they have their YouTube show. I know you guys sometimes check that one out. So I don't know if they do more stuff to make what they're doing on TV to contextualize it better, make it make more sense. But
they're really obnoxious on there too.
Yeah, well, even there, it's more over the top. And hell, there is just half Dark Order now anyway, and I don't even want to watch that.
I'll watch Johnny Hungry all day.
Yeah.
Him and Anna Jay before she went to Jazz.
Yuck. But that's all I got to say about that. So go ahead with the next one. We're running low on time.
I've got a pair of brothers on my list.
Ooh.
One of them's been injured, so I guess he doesn't really count because he's always injured. But Dante and Darius Martin, they should have just stayed under the masks. They would be so far and bigger and over than they are under the faces with no like charismatic looks because they were under masks for their first training in years. So if they would have just stayed under the masks, they probably would be American lucha style overs with how many flips and funds they can do, and people don't know what they look like.
Were they wearing masks in AEW?
No.
Okay.
That's why I said they never should. Like when they came in, it was unmasked. They're both very green, but they were in masks
Okay.
in their training, and that's why that's why when they first came in, they barely. You look at Dante Martin now, and if he cracks a smile, you're like, oh, he moved his face.
Yeah, he's
He
gotten
didn't
so
just-
much better at that.
He didn't just always look like you could literally see his brain going, what move do I have to do next? Where do I
Yes.
have to get to next? And now he's at least gotten way better at that because he's out of the mask, learning how to sell correctly and do a body sell instead of body and face sell instead of just a body sell.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, that's been a lot of fun to watch because it was
Obviously, they're
hilariously
not-
bad.
Obviously,
when he
they're
first
not
came
on my
up.
list. Dante Martin in 10 years is going to be 5-10 years, phenomenal, hopefully career.
As long as he stays healthy,
Yeah,
and that's what's important.
I hope his brother gets the time to shine too. Hopefully, in a couple of years, they're holding some tag titles, and them and I don't know, they'll probably pair up with Pac or something because Pac pairs well with everybody.
Pac.
Well,
Alright.
so top flight. I mean, I don't really have a problem with the gimmick, but Dante has been used really goofily, and he doesn't really have a thing. So, yeah, do better, man, do better.
Sorry.
Flexo, not TK. Flexo, do better.
Flexo needs to do better. Jesse, who we got 10 minutes left. Who's
Speed
near
round.
the top of your list?
All right. I got two left. My one right now is Michael Nakazawa and his baby oil and thong hand thing that he did.
I'm gonna cross him off my list so I can just let you say what's on here.
That baby oil shit, I did not like. I'm like, what are you doing? It like made me want to take a shower. Watching him do that, I wanted to just clean myself because it's so weird. And then he's got a thong. Like what?
Yeah.
It's no mandible claw. It's not Socko.
I'm sure it was pitched in a hotel room with the Bucks and Kenny and the rest of their inner circle. Cyrus
might
the
have had that
Virus
in
probably
Japan.
pitched it. Yeah, so many weird ideas, and then never just an extra body. Yeah, an extra gimmick. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the weirdest. Oh, thinking about it, he's crossed off the list.
You're welcome. I knew I had a good one.
Nakazawa.
Mr. G, who's near the top of your list?
Ooh, boy, I got some fun ones. Here's a fun one. Fucking Jungle Boy.
Oh, nice.
It's time for it just to be Jack Perry and to ditch the I am eternally a lower mid card weirdo scrub Jungle Boy moniker. He's pretty good. Still got a lot to learn on the mic, but compared to the death he was when he first came, he's at least not like always entirely embarrassing. But ditching the Jungle Boy thing, it sucks because you'll lose the awesome entrance and the fun song, but it's still worth it.
I mean, you could take that song and remix it into something badass, I'm sure. And then he just comes out as Jack, and his trunk's got some, remnant of a jungle on it, or now he's got a tattoo, whatever. But now he's Jack 2.0. Imagine
he's got to have 2000s new metal.
Imagine if he cuts his hair and
that's what he's
comes
gotta
out
have.
and has a heel punch you in the face gimmick.
I mean, maybe. I think right now he's kind of stuck as a face, like a heel Jungle Boy. I don't know if he's got that in him.
I'm just saying, like, imagine like what could happen if like he's not just the Jungle Kid with the dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's on my list.
And the
because
Christian.
That's goofy.
I was gonna say, have him come out like his dad from 90210.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, he
Yeah,
just
like-
comes out as Luke Perry.
Like the cut hair, the jean
Yeah.
jacket, the no care.
Yeah, that'd be great. He should do that, and then like insist that he's a high schooler. And yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That's his new gimmick. Sorry, Jungle. We've seen you ceiling, and it is the mid card. You're your dad now.
But yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I didn't think about it, but
yeah.
he's really outgrown that gimmick, and with Jurassic Express being gone, there's no need for it.
Yeah, until you reintroduce Griff Garrison as Marco Stunt, you don't need him to be Jungle Boy.
Oh no, he's the blondes now.
Yeah, because he lost the Hollywood moniker to Mark Sterling and all that garbage.
They lost the varsity part.
But we have to go on and move. On delay.
All right.
TK, you got any more fun ones?
I got one at the top of my list.
Do it. Shoot your bullet.
Hangman Adam Page.
Ooh, good one. I thought about it. Yeah, good one.
I think it's the dumbest cowboy gimmick that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't do it for me. It made nothing about it. He seems like a Westworld character that never got updated AI.
That's why he was hitting himself in the head saying, I am a man. He was confused.
The laughter confirms I'm right.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why he was just wailing on himself. Like his programming's getting fucked up. He's having a crisis of consciousness and he's insisting he's a man. Yeah.
Totally. He goes into a feud. He either wins or he loses. And then the next time we see him, it's the same feud because he reset his program and they fixed him back up and they put him back out. But now it's another person and he does the same feud.
Yeah.
Whether he's the heel or
that's good.
Yeah,
he's a Westworld AI robot. You can't tell me otherwise.
Robot. Man. Well, I mean, he should go crazy Yul Brynner style then and get red contacts and just start killing people.
I mean, only an AI robot can set off CM Punk. So
yeah, man. See, Philip Brooks is a lunatic.
I don't know what kind of gimmick that Mr. Adam Page would have that is better because he was still Hangman Adam Page in the Bullet Club before AEW, and he was okay in there, but that was more as a group in the Bullet Club, and there's 10 to 20 people at any given time, and he's still number 8. When he got hired at AEW, in the beginning, I didn't care at all, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Adam Page," and I was like, "Cool, Cowboy Bob Orton." From 1980, before he was important,
before he had hepatitis.
Like I don't want to. My favorite, the cowboy gimmick only works right now for one man right now, and that's because he's a farmer.
He should start dressing like a plantation owner and change his name to Virginia Slim, and just be kind of effeminate and have the long thing that you hold the cigarettes in. He should just be a tobacco man. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. All right, Adam Page, you're a tobacco man now. Jexky, Jesse, Jesus, you have any more for us? Come on.
This is my last one.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
The Nightmare Collective.
Oh, are they a thing still?
No, but it's one of the worst.
It was bad. Yeah.
That was the top of my list. That was the first thing I thought of.
That was Brandy's thing, right?
Yeah, where they would
call.
They would cut people's hair and they shaved the one chick's head and then they went away.
Then Brandy got pregnant, right?
No, the gimmick just wasn't getting over.
Something happened and then they immediately swerved to a different role. Something happened with one of the members.
She got pregnant, I thought, didn't she?
Because
they even covered her pregnancy on Cody's reality show. So it was during his time in AEW.
Okay. But
it was still weird.
I don't know.
Because it wasn't going anywhere and then they immediately dropped it. Well, they immediately dropped it, and then I think one of them started doing something else right away that was the opposite of what they should have been doing. I don't remember that well. It was 2 years ago.
It was Mel and
Big Swole
Awesome Kong
was there, right?
Awesome Kong?
Oh, Awesome Kong? Okay.
Was that her name?
I don't know.
She was in Glow.
Okay.
And she was in
show. That was a damn good show, man.
Luther was in there.
A couple minutes left to wrap it up, boys.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got.
That's it for my list. Ooh. That's all I got.
I got 2. One is going to be controversial, and the other one might be too. But one of them is Abaddon.
I had her on my list. I'm not that controversial.
Yeah, that's not the controversial one. Yeah, Abaddon, she just doesn't do it for me, man.
I love Abaddon.
Like, it sucks that she was time displaced while they were filming the opening cutscene of the original Resident Evil, and she wound up in the year 2019 and became a professional wrestler. Because it would have been really cool to see her in that opening FMV, and it really fits there. But the gimmick just eh, meh,
Yeah,
eh,
it's
that's how I
really
feel
hard
about
to
it.
pull that off in wrestling, even
Mhm.
though it's wrestling. There's very few people who can pull that genre of gimmick off, male or female.
Yeah. And like, the Undertaker was undead, but he was never like actively rotting while he
Yeah.
was wrestling.
The screaming.
Yeah, just not for me. And the last one, I think you guys liked this. I think y'all liked it, but I didn't. And in hindsight, yeah, just the feud was kind of fun, but best man Miro, I think it was a terrible way to bring
Yeah.
him into the company.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I kind of even forgot about it.
Yeah, like
I was thinking about that one. The best man Miro. I was just like excited to see Miro because I
totally.
hadn't seen him in WWE. So it was kind of exciting to see him like come out and just kind of be. So I was
Yeah.
excited for that when I
Yeah,
started
I was
watching
excited
it.
when he came over, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it's yeah, they come over or they come in and someone comes in and the gimmick they got is just, man, it should have gone to someone else or tweak it a couple ways, and it's just now it's perfect.
He really didn't need to get paired with Kip Sabian and
No.
Penelope Ford. He did not need to
Yeah,
be with
no,
them
pairing him
at
with anybody
all.
was weird.
It
Anybody but his
didn't
wife.
it didn't help him, obviously, and it obviously didn't help Kip Sabian any.
No.
So that whole thing was just
Yeah, I'll give you that.
bleh. And I mean, again, the best friends feud was fun. That gimmick was about the only way you would ever have a reason to have a Miro and the best friends feuding, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of fits into their lane more than it fits into a Miro lane. But it was just such a departure from anything else that they planned on doing with him. I mean, that said, now you can almost put Miro's God thing into the list too, because
Because it went
Where is
nowhere.
it?
they went nowhere. It
Yeah.
was cool. It was, and then it just kind of got weird because all right, we haven't seen him in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and he's just as mad about it. Yep.
He's lost in heaven, walking around a white background now. What's going on? And then the
See,
answer is nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on.
I think the issue with that is because Tony Khan wanted him to be feuding with House of Black. And
I mean,
with
maybe, but
with Malachi being gone, it's like, oh, Miro, I had all these plans for what we were gonna do, but now he's gone, so I can't do what I wanted to do. So you're just gonna have to sit there and wait.
Yeah, Flexo has the problem of when one piece of any feud falls apart, that feud disappears into eternity, and sometimes the wrestlers do as well, which is awful because he doesn't know how to salvage feuds because his brain will only focus on, I don't know, 3 of the 18 he's got to juggle for all his shows.
I don't
he
think
tries
it's
to
so
do
much.
these long-term outlines too, and doesn't understand. Like sometimes
Yeah.
things change, and sometimes the
Sometimes
crowd
you can't,
should
sometimes you
change
can't
things.
stick to it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
injuries change. Sometimes substance abuse problems change. Like, yeah, you can't just come up with an outline and then expect it to go all the way through. It worked
And
out
that-
sometimes with the Adam
that-
Page Elite storyline. That worked. Sometimes you can hit a home run. Other times you hit Man of the Year.
Yeah, sometimes you hit daddy ass's kids, and sometimes you get the Acclaimed.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like that one he definitely changed plans based on fan reaction. So kudos to him there. I doubt the Acclaimed getting the belts was part of the plan until it became clear that
Yeah, and now
You
they've
know,
they
got
needed
shirts
to
that
put the
I'd wear.
belts on them. Yeah. And it's almost like a kid who things aren't going his way, so he's gonna pout.
That's exactly what it's like. That's literally like I said in his Wikipedia bio. It's owned by Shahid Khan and his son Tony.
Yeah.
well, he's got an Adderall button now, and happy. Don't say I'm in a midlife crisis. Tony Schiavone bringing them to him. So
Still lose CM Punk over it. Watch him lose CM Punk, Kenny, and the Bucks. Like they'll come away with nothing. The other 3 could just go back to Japan, and they don't give a shit. They won't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they won't.
No,
I think they would give a
Kenny
little
probably
shit.
won't. The Young
me
Bucks
too.
probably
But like
would.
in the sense of you weren't going to work anywhere, kid. Like, no, they'll go back to Japan, all three of them, and be stars still for years.
Yeah, and their careers will be fine. I don't know what they're making in AEW. I don't know what they would make in Japan, but they'd make enough. Their careers
They
would
made
be
top
fine.
dollar in Japan before they went to AEW. So
I don't know what top dollar in Japan. Like I literally don't know. So I couldn't tell you. They could have been the richest wrestlers in the world. Like I couldn't tell you. I
they put a
don't
lot.
know.
Their
But I
money
do
came from
know
their
those
merch.
last two digits and
A lot of their
yen.
money from their merch.
Ignore them. I tell you what. Ignore them. Those are the pennies. I'd be like, you give me $100, I'll give you 1,000 yen, and you'd be like, yeah,
I would say the same thing to
I'll
TK.
do that. Well, TK is not. TK is better with money than is, so I wouldn't try to do it.
That's
to
a
TK.
fact.
I wouldn't try to do it to TK. I would do it to, and he'd do it, and I'd say, "You fool, you piece of shit! I just ripped you off." That's what I'd do. Speaking of ripped off, is time already gone, you guys?
Yeah, we have ripped off this entire hour of catching up and talking about AEW's worst gimmicks.
Yeah, I think we nailed it this time.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
The
Nailed
30
it.
people that watched our first video can watch this video too.
God
Heck
bless
yeah.
them. Hey, you guys. Anybody listening to this, really makes my day thinking of you sitting back, putting on YouTube and listening to us jokers talk about wrestling.
If people are still here an hour after being into this,
God bless them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You
Thank
may
you
be on a
for
list
spending-
somewhere now, but God bless you.
Thanks for spending your day with us. Like, letting us be a part of your day. That's awesome. Greatly appreciated.
Don't
But
forget
only
to like
day.
and subscribe.
Share, like, and subscribe.
Oh, share, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, we're
Hit-
one
hit-
of those people now.
Hit that like button.
Oh, yeah.
And then hit that. Oh, that was do another Macho Man. Jesse. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. Your mic. Everybody listening who listened to episode 1 is familiar with the canon. Jesse's mic, big upgrade between episodes. We made so much money off the first episode. Jesse was able to buy a new mic. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you.
Thank you so much for the views. And please, comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. If you have any opinions on what you think are some of the worst gimmicks in AEW that we might have missed. And feel free to shoot us an email.
Leave us a topic. If someone leaves us a topic, you'll be the only comment. So we'll probably be like, that's a cool topic because you're going to be the only one.
Or visit Jesse at his home, 1216 Morning Clark Lane in Evansville, Indiana. I don't know the zip code off the top of my head.
60117.
60117. X. They use letters in Indiana too.
Yeah, that's that's Baja California, Mexico, Evansville, Indiana.
And if you do make it to the end of the podcast, we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening.
And thank you, Phil.
And
Thanks,
you, Phil.
Round of applause for Phil. Just you listeners, not us.
Phil, this is your time. What did you learn in this last hour about wrestling that you didn't know before?
Oh, so much. I have so much to watch and so much to catch up on.
Yeah, I like to put ketchup on my wrestling too.
I like to put ketchup on my hot dogs.
Fuck you.
Me too.
Well, you gotta censor that if it's gonna be on YouTube. I don't think they let you say fuck.
I think that you can.
Yeah, you can
Can you?
explicit. Yeah.
Yeah, you can, just not other things.
We just have to make sure it's like an adults only thing.
Yeah.
There's certain words you can't say. Your YouTube channel will just get shut down. But yes.
Well, yeah, I don't need to say any of those words.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're the one I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm worried about him too. But TK, Matt, and Jesse are good.
One day I'll get it. One day I'll remember that our friend passed away.
May he rest in peace.
Was devoured by ants after eating all that fun dip, and that son of a bitch. Why do they even sell that at Costco anyway?
Well, it was the
nobody
uncles,
needs a
not the
bag
ants.
that big. Nobody.
Yeah, it wasn't the ants,
nobody.
it was the uncles.
No, well, just telling a story. But I mean, it triggers me too. So thanks for stopping me, because the screams sometimes when it's too quiet, you still hear them.
Ladies
Those
and gentlemen,
voices.
this has been AEW presents us.
YSATS. YSATS presents.
YSATS presents. YSATS X AEW presents your worst gimmicks of the world. That's Matt. That's Jesse. I'm TK. That's Phil. We're signing off for the night. We'll see you guys next week.
Fuck, we are. Hey, what are we doing next week?
We're gonna.
It's a mystery
go
show.
over-
You guys won't know till we get there.
That's bullshit.
I gotta figure something out.
Well, I thought about this topic, so who's got a next topic?
I'm supposed to have the next one.
Well, if you don't have one now, then you don't get one. We skip you.
Matt, do you have a topic?
Yeah, I'll just come up with one randomly. I'll generate it in my head as soon as
Matt,
Jesse
5
says.
seconds. Say your topic in 5 seconds, Matt.
All right. So can you give me a countdown? I can't count to 5.
I don't know. Putting on the spot. It's always tough for me.
Our personal 5 favorite AEW wrestlers right now, current at this point in time. Not
Suspended
all.
and injured. Suspended and injured.
Yes, suspended and injured.
Top 5 AEW wrestlers.
Your 5 favorites. And your 5 favorite could be the ones you think are best. But they are your 5 favorite. This is a subjective list, which means that it's objectively true, but only in the sense that it's subjective. You can't argue with our opinions, but we will argue with yours. So tune in next week if you want to hear all of this skullduggery and nonsense and AEW wrestling wisdom. Ah.
Take care, everybody.
Love ya.